So it looks like Apple is in trouble, and I'll explain why. iPhones have always had a reputation for being one of the fastest and best performing chips out there when it comes to GPU performance, benchmarks, and even CPU performance. But it looks like that's all about to change thanks to the Snapdragon A Gen 3 and the latest S24 Ultra. Qualcomm just announced the latest Snapdragon A Gen 3 chip, which has been rumored to be coming out in the S24 lineup. And they just gave us a little bit of a sneak peek into the actual benchmark numbers, and I have to say that it actually blew me away. Before I get into the numbers, I should mention that Qualcomm this time really focused on AI, and this chip is actually very AI specific, and it's made for different AI features, which I will talk about in a little bit later. Now, if you look at the numbers for the Snapdragon A Gen 3 and we compare them directly to the iPhone 15 Pro, you can see that there's a huge difference starting with Geekbench 6. So Snapdragon's A Gen 3 chip was able to give us 7,500 points, which is nearly 300 more points than the iPhone 15 Pro, which currently has around 7,230 points. Now, this is a big deal because this is the first time in nearly a decade when a Snapdragon chip was able to outperform an A series chip. Now, I should mention that this chip is not really optimized for any Android phone. And if you guys know, Snapdragon specifically makes a made for Galaxy chip for the Galaxy S series lineup, which means that the chip that's going to be coming in the S24 lineup is actually going to be an overclocked, more powerful one, which is going to be performing even better than this. So these numbers are about to even go higher. We also have Antutu benchmark test, and this also blew me away because if you look at the numbers, this is basically overkill. The Snapdragon A Gen 3 was able to give us 2.1 million points, which is nothing. We've never seen that number in any Antutu benchmark. We always peak around 1.4, 1.5 million points. And even if you look at the iPhone 15 Pro, you can see that that's also barely hitting 1.5 million points. And I mean, comparing that to also last year's Snapdragon A Gen 2 chip, which is actually the optimized made for Galaxy chip, that also just hits at 1.47 million points. So this is nearly 45 to 50% faster than anything that we've seen before in the past year or anything before that. Now, the next question is going to be, is this really efficient? That's what I also thought, because the numbers look great, looks promising, but if the chip is not efficient, it's really no use at all. But keep in mind that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is actually still based on a 4nm platform, and the A17 chip is based on a more efficient 3nm platform. Now, if you look at these numbers that I'm showing you right now, you can see that the A17 Bionic chip actually peaks out with GPU performance at 10.9 watts. And if we look at the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, it peaks out at maximum capacity of the GPU at only 8.2 watts. Now, this may not be very easy to understand, but in easy words, the chip is actually better performing and it's actually using less power. So that means that even though the Snapdragon A Gen 3 chip is still based on a 4nm platform, which is not as efficient as a chip that's based on a 3nm platform, it's still outperforming and it's actually more efficient than the A17 chip. Now, I just mentioned that Qualcomm really made the Snapdragon A Gen 3 chip being AI optimized, and that's because Samsung and Qualcomm, based on this new video that just came out on Samsung's official YouTube channel, it looks like Samsung and Qualcomm are actually partnering up to come up with a specific AI camera feature. Now, this camera feature is called Zoom Anywhere, and as the name suggests, this feature is really focusing on the zooming capabilities of the camera. And this video doesn't really specify which phone this is for, but we can tell that this is for an ISO cell 200 megapixel camera, so I'm assuming it's going to be for the latest Samsung S24 Ultra, which is rumored to again come with a 200 megapixel camera, or it may even be for the current S23 Ultra. Now, one of the things that I thought when I saw these numbers was that this is actually a lot of overkill. I mean, these numbers are outperforming anything that we've seen before, and I actually didn't expect anything to even go higher than the A17 Pro chip, because that's a very fast chip already. But the reason why Qualcomm decided to overkill this chip is because they want to now integrate different AI features. And Qualcomm wanted to focus on generative AI this time. So AI is something that requires a lot of processing power. And in order to do that, you need a fast chip. You need a chip that's actually way advanced than its time. And that's exactly what Qualcomm is doing. Now, if you look into some of the features that Zoom Anywhere has, one of the features that this comes with is AI tracking. Now, AI tracking is something that you often need to do with an expensive camera or equipment or a software, and it's not easily done with just a tap of a button. Similarly, Magic Eraser is something that we've seen recently come out. That's also something that you need to do through a software, and you actually need to know how to use that software. You can't really do it with the tap of a button. Now, the feature that I just talked about, AI tracking, what it does is basically if you click on a specific subject that is moving inside the frame, it will track it completely. But it's not only going to track that. The good thing about this is that, first of all, it's going to be recording in high-res 4K resolution. Alongside with that, it's also going to be making a video of the full frame. So you're going to have two frames. One is going to be the full picture, the full frame of what you are filming, and then the second one is going to be of the specific tracking that you're doing. So you are going to have, at the end of the day, two videos that are going to be 4K high-res, and you can then actually edit or cut out or basically just use it however you want. And again, this is usually done with high-end expensive equipment, and you usually need to know how to use the softwares and different technologies, and this is just being done with a tap of a button. The second feature is based on multi-tracking or zooming on more than one subject in a frame. So for example, if you have two people, let's say two people are cooking, and you want to zoom in on one person, you can actually tap on it and it will zoom into that person. And then if you want to zoom on to another person again, you're also able to then touch your screen, and it will automatically and smoothly transition into the second person or the second object that you are filming. Again, this will have two videos, so by the end of the video, you'll end up with two high-res videos, which you can then cut, edit, and then use as any way that you want to. The best part about this is that this is still gonna have a high-res 4K resolution, and that's not really common because a lot of times when you zoom in, you actually lose some picture quality, some megapixels, but this will still be in 4K, which is really good to see. But I mean, again, it looks like Apple is actually in trouble this time, because Apple is going to really have to do something if they still want to keep competing with the Snapdragon's Gen 3 chip. And I don't doubt that they will, but I don't know whether they're actually gonna start doing it this quickly, or they're gonna wait a couple of years before they start hitting those numbers. We know that Apple has the capability, but it looks like Samsung and Qualcomm this time are taking the numbers. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Are you excited for the latest chip and what it actually does? And are you excited for the upcoming Samsung S24 Ultra? Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.